Hello guys, and welcome to my very first postpartum update. I probably should have filmed one of these a little sooner, but if you've watched some of my other videos, then you know that I was on a bit of a hiatus. Things just got really crazy around here, and sorry, car going by. That's just life sometimes. But here I am now. So, to the update. I am 8 weeks and 3 days postpartum, and I feel really good, actually. I've stopped bleeding. I actually bled a lot longer this time than I did with Claudia. With Claudia, I bled about 2 weeks and then it completely stopped. This time I bled like a normal amount for like 2 weeks, but then it was like much lighter after that, but it really wasn't like bothersome or anything, so I guess it really doesn't matter that much. But yeah, not bleeding anymore. I haven't put up my birth story yet, but when you do see it, you will know that I did tear. I had a 2nd-degree tear, so I did have stitches. Those are also no longer in. I think the last one fell out at about 5 weeks postpartum. It definitely took a while. It took a while with Claudia too. For whatever reason, my stitches just take a while to fall out. Even the doctors are always like, really? You still have stitches in there? But that's okay. They came out eventually, but they do kind of hurt until they come out because I don't know why. They're just really not comfortable. So I have no stitches. Let's see what else postpartum wise. I gained, let's see. I gained about 10 pounds in all during the pregnancy, which isn't bad at all. And I am down from how much I weighed on delivery day. I am down about 23 pounds. So I do weigh a little bit less than when I got pregnant, but obviously I was on the heavier side when I got pregnant because of all of these issues and our whole trying to conceive journey to begin with. So I was a little bit heavier than, well, a lot heavier than I would have liked to have been. So I'm still nowhere where I want to be, but I have started doing T25, and I'm going to keep doing T25 for as long as I can, I'm trying to see if I can do it. And I'll explain that in just a moment here. So, weight-wise, I am down, but I still need to keep going down quite a bit. Hopefully I can do that now that it's getting to be springtime soon, and I have my double stroller, and it's gonna be so nice to just get out of the house, because exercising in the house with 2 kids is like probably one of the worst things in the entire world to try to do. Yeah, hopefully some more exercising soon, and I am doing T25 right now. That leads me to my next thing, postpartum wise, about me. And that is breastfeeding. I am not breastfeeding. And it absolutely, okay, I shouldn't say I'm not breastfeeding. I'm not nursing. We had a whole slew of problems that just made it really, really difficult to try to nurse, and it was taking a toll on our relationship, mine and Maverick's relationship. And so I made the decision to stop, mostly, and exclusively pump. The issues that we were having were that he was a big baby. He was 9 pounds 2 ounces at birth. I was on a fairly high dose of insulin, considering I don't take insulin when not pregnant. So that caused him to be on the larger side, not the insulin, the gestational diabetes or the diabetes or whatever they were calling it. If you watch my old videos, you'll understand what I'm saying. And there's a very big risk of your baby's blood sugar crashing when you're in this kind of situation. And a lot of times babies are needed to supplement with formula in the first few days, or the first few, 48 to 72 hours at least, to get their blood sugar back up, because usually mom is not producing enough colostrum to give them enough sugar. I actually was producing enough colostrum. He did not need any formula. His blood sugars were great. But that's because I was pumping and giving it to him in order to avoid giving him formula out of a bottle anyways. So he didn't need the formula while we were in our hospital stay. His blood sugars looked great, but it did take a toll on our nursing relationship because he was hungry. When your blood sugars are crashing or, going down, especially when you're a big chunky baby, you just want to eat. And nursing is not the fastest route to get food into your stomach. So he would nurse forever, and it still just wouldn't be enough to sustain such a big baby. We did nurse exclusively. Like I said, there was no formula. We nursed tons and tons and tons in the hospital. And I did pump and give him milk, and he did not have any formula. I was producing lots of colostrum, but still not in the amount that you would produce like regular milk when your milk comes in. So once we got home, he was still nursing a lot, but my milk takes forever to come in. I think it's just me because the same thing happened with Claudia. And if you watched my life update video, then I explained that they discharged us from the hospital the day after I had him because it was Christmas Eve the following day. So they did discharge us a little bit early with the exception or with the stipulation that we would have to come in on Christmas Eve real quick to do a weight and bilirubin check. We did that, and his weight was down. His blood sugars were doing good, which is great. That means that I had enough sugar in my colostrum. But his weight was down more than they would have liked to have seen. Or actually, I should say, it didn't go up as much as they would have liked to have seen. He went down quite a bit while we were in the hospital because he was a big baby. And he was up a tiny bit when we left, but then when we went back, he wasn't really up much more. And being that the whole diabetes situation, they were a little bit concerned, and they were leaning towards having me supplement with formula. And I did. I supplemented with formula only because my milk takes forever to come in. It literally takes a full 5 to 6 days for my milk to come in. And so he was being supplemented and he was nursing. But it got to the point where nursing was just becoming stressful for him because he wanted, his blood sugars wanted to just have that large meal in his stomach, raising his blood sugar. And literally the doctors just said, he's a big baby. He just wants his food and he needs that food to sustain his bigness or whatever. And so eventually it just got to the point where neither of us was getting any sleep because he was trying to nurse all the time, and he was getting frustrated and pulling off and on and off and on and off and on. So I did start pumping at home then, and in addition to supplementing with formula, I also was pumping to try to make sure I could give him as much breast milk as possible because he would unlatch due to what I thought was frustration and not empty me, and he wasn't getting enough out of me. Then once things calmed down a little bit, I realized that he was still unlatching even once my milk came in. He would drink, suck, unlatch, suck, unlatch. And eventually he would just get really ticked off and just start screaming at the breast. And once you put a bottle in his mouth, he was better, but still not completely okay even then. So I looked in his mouth and I was pretty positive that he had an upper lip tie. So at his next pediatrician appointment, I talked to them about it, and the pediatrician did confirm he definitely has an upper lip tie. And normally if a baby's lip tied, they're probably also tongue tied, even if it's not the kind of tongue tie that you can see right away. It could be a posterior tongue tie, which is very hard to spot if you're not an international board certified lactation consultant. So I went to the lactation consultant several times. We tried to work on his latch. She couldn't be 100% sure if he had a tongue tie either, because he also has a small mouth, which meant we were having trouble like being able to see in his mouth and even getting him to open his mouth, because he's the kind of, like, when he freaks out for like half a second and then he like passes out. Like, I swear, it's like one of those like goats that faints. Like, he literally would just scream and then pass out. And then you can't get the kid to open his mouth until he like screams real quick one more time and then passes back out. So trying to even see in his mouth was awful. So we came to the conclusion that he's definitely lip-tied. He could be tongue-tied. He also has a pretty high arch in his mouth, which was hurting me, which was probably the least of my concerns, but still not good when we were already having trouble nursing. And he had a small mouth. I did everything I could. We had appointment after appointment with the pediatrician, several appointments with the lactation consultant. And yes, I could have gone and sought more help from like an ear, nose, and throat doctor and tried to get his ties revised and lasered. But honestly, I just felt like that was going to be even more damaging to our relationship, because I'm the kind of person that freaks out if my child is going through any kind of medical procedure, and I just wasn't, like, I was postpartum, I was trying to level out my hormones, and I just wasn't ready to do that, and I wasn't ready to put him through that, and I don't know, I didn't have it in me to do that. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that, and I know that people get ties revised all the time with laser, and it's a rocky day or two, and then they go on to nurse for like 2 years. It just wasn't the right thing for me in my state of mind at that time, and I still just don't really want to put him through that. He doesn't like being messed with. He doesn't like trying to get like the little earwax out of his ear, you know what I mean? Like, he just hates being messed with at all in that kind of way. He hates people like poking and picking at him, basically. So I just kept pumping, and eventually I found some videos on YouTube even, and I didn't even realize that there was a whole community of people that exclusively pump, and that it's actually a thing to do. So I am exclusively pumping still. We are, like I said, I'm like 8.5 weeks postpartum, and it's going great. He is exclusively breastfed. I make more than enough for him to eat in a day. I do have a freezer stash going also. It's nothing insanely crazy. Like, I don't have like a crazy oversupply where I have like chest freezers full, but I have a decent freezer stash. Probably about 350 ounces right now at 8 weeks postpartum. And like I said, there's more than enough for him to eat in a day. I just freeze whatever he doesn't eat that night, and it's working for us. Now, the other issues that we did have that kind of go along with this journey are that because he is tongue-tied, because he had a small mouth, we were having trouble finding the right bottle. He was doing the same thing on some of the bottles that he was doing when he was trying to nurse. Latching, unlatching, latching, unlatching, and that causes so much gas. It's ridiculous how uncomfortable this poor kid got. And of course, we tried gas drops, we tried grape water, we tried the Highlands colic tabs. We tried lots of things, and some of them provided like the tiniest bit of relief. Some of them didn't really help. Some of them, like the grape water, I think made it worse, honestly. So then there was a whole fight to find the right bottle that was going to work for him. I literally have, over in that corner, bags and bags and bags of bottles. Some of them we bought. Some of them people gave to us to try. And in the end, we are using Dr. Brown's bottles. They have a nice small nipple. He uses the preemie nipple even being such a large boy and eating as much as he does, he uses the preemie nipple because he drowns in anything else because of his weird latch issues. But he seems to do absolutely the best on these. I swear these bottles were a lifesaver. And I worked in a daycare for 3 years, and I hated these bottles. I hated Dr. Brown's bottles. Absolutely with a passion. I never would have thought I would have had to use them. But they are the only thing, and I mean, I have tried so many bottles. They are the only thing that work for us. And his gas problems are gone. Like, you don't even have to burp the kid anymore. And honestly, if you do burp him, then you're kind of forcing something out, and then he does spit up. So most of the time we don't even burp him, and he's perfectly content and happy. And he passes his gas on his own, and it's just, like, I cannot say enough things about what a lifesaver those bottles were to curing this feeding relationship that we have. And they're annoying, and they're known to leak if you don't do it right, and there's a million parts to wash, but you know what? He is literally a different baby. He is so happy now. Like I said, gas issues are almost non-existent because he's not unlatching and latching and gasping and crying and unlatching and latching. To me, it's just crazy that a baby could even do that with a bottle because I've never seen that before. Like, I know people have nursing problems where baby unlatches, but he would literally have trouble latching onto a bottle. That's how awful his mouth and his feeding issues were. But everything is great now. Like I said, I'm pumping. Right now I'm pumping usually about 6 times a day, but some days it'll be 7, some days it'll be 5, and I'm getting about 30 to 35 ounces a day, and he's eating 24 to 28 ounces a day. So I'm usually able to freeze them at night. Sometimes I freeze them in bags. That's what most of my freezer stash is. But then I also have like 1 gallon Ziploc bag that I'm filling up with like ice cubes. I got like a silicone tray with little squares in it that I'm filling up with 1 ounce like little ice cubes, so that when he's teething I can put it in one of those mesh teethers, or if we ever need just like 1 extra ounce or 2 extra ounces, those little cubes are each an ounce. We do need to get a bigger freezer, which works out fine because Randy's grandmother is ready to get rid of her giant deep freezer because our little freezer is filling up with milk quickly, and we have another freezer down in the laundry room that's separate from our fridge, but that is filling up quickly, and usually we shop wholesale, so we need that space for that kind of stuff too a lot of the times. But yeah, everything right now it feels like everything's finally like fallen into place and it's going really well. I do want to say that I do try to nurse him at the breast about maybe 3 times a week, and there are several reasons for that. One is that as his mouth gets bigger, he could grow out of all of this, and he could magically just get it one day and be completely content. I am producing more in 1 sitting of pumping than he eats in 1 sitting of feeding. So he eats 4 ounces every time he takes a bottle, but I usually pump 5 to 6 ounces in 1 sitting. So I know there's plenty in there for him. It's not like I have a low supply or anything. So if he were to magically just get it one day, or like his mouth just is it's just bigger, I've heard that can happen sometimes, then that's great. And I have heard of babies people just trying, working with them on their latch and trying to get them on the breast and it just working for them, and all of a sudden they don't have to pump anymore. Another reason also is that your body as a mother, as a nursing mother, also knows what to detect in a baby's saliva. So when your baby latches onto you, it leaves behind its saliva, and your body knows how to take that saliva and look at any kind of like viruses or bacteria that may be lingering in there, and it knows how to change the composition of your milk to accommodate what your baby needs at that moment. So like if there's a virus going around, your baby's spit actually, or saliva, whatever you want to call it, actually can change the composition of your milk to be what the baby needs to not get that sickness. So I do still try to put him at the breast a couple times a week at least. Sometimes it stresses him out, but we have had days where he's literally fallen asleep nursing on me. And I think in my head, oh my gosh, is this going to be it? But then the next time is like a total freak out, and it is what it is. We're working on it. If it happens, it happens. If not, then I'm going to keep pumping for as long as I can. And let me tell you, it is hard. And there have been so many days where I have texted my best friend and said, that's it. I'm done. I'm hanging up the pump. I can't do this anymore. But I never can actually quit because I know what I'm providing for my baby is so amazing, and he loves it, and he's super chunky, and that to me is just amazing to see. You know, that's the best part about breastfeeding, in my opinion, is seeing them grow on your milk alone. So this update is getting really, really long. I'm trying to think if there's anything else me-wise that I would want to update on. I don't think so. No, I guess that's really it. Like I said, everything is going pretty great right now, as far as, like, as great as it could go, and much better than it was going previously. The only other thing that I know I had talked about in a bunch of my pregnancy vlogs about how my hair grows when I am pregnant like a weed. I have heard of people, you know, it's especially from taking prenatals and stuff, your hair and your nails grow faster to begin with. And I don't know that I've really noticed a change, because I've been taking prenatals for years, even when I wasn't pregnant, because we were trying to get pregnant, or I was nursing, or whatever. And I don't know that I ever really noticed that much of a difference, but both times, once I got pregnant, my hair goes into overdrive like I've never seen, and I've had plenty of people tell me, like, that's not fair, like, my hair did not grow that much while I was pregnant. And I just thought I would give you guys a little update on my hair, because I have decided that I'm probably never cutting it again. Here is my hair, though. It is ridiculously long. When I sit, it touches my lap. Yeah. And there's still more hair behind my head. It is ridiculously long. It goes way past my boobs. It's almost down to, it's like maybe an inch from my butt crack at this point. It's ridiculously long. And I almost wish that I had never cut my hair with Claudia, because it did this exact same thing. And I chopped it all off. And I mean, I chopped it all off. Like, I cut it like to here after Claudia, because it was driving me nuts. And this time I was like, no. But imagine how long my hair would be right now if I never cut it after Claudia. That's crazy. Anyways, this video is way too long right now. But thanks for sticking around, and stay tuned, because I've been daily vlogging. I don't really know why. To capture memories, I suppose, but I've just been feeling inclined to daily vlog. So that's been going on, and Maverick will be 2 months old next week, which means he has his 2-month appointment coming up, and I'll be doing his 2-month update. I'd also like to do a 2-year update, since I was very pregnant when Claudia turned 2 years old, and I haven't done that yet. And yeah, my birth story is still to come also. You guys have seen some snippets if you saw my update. And also, this has nothing to do with this video, but next Wednesday I am doing my hair. I'm not cutting it, but I am getting it professionally done. And I can't wait to show you guys what it's going to look like. So I will catch you guys next time. Bye.